Shalom, shalom, Israel. Priest and also Shab of the I.S.U.P.K. All right, so that was just a little introduction video to what we're going to speak about today, and that is Operation Moses. Right? If you're not familiar with it, the Israeli government had a operation to get immigrants from Ethiopia and airlift them back to the land of Israel. Right? So we're just going to go through that. And at the end, we'll go over a few scriptures to help us identify who the real Jews are. Right? This is the main topic of discussion that's going on all across the globe. Where is the lost sheep of the house of Israel? And what we got to do is go to the source, right? The Torah, the Tanakh, the Bible is the source to let you know who these people are today. All right. So the first thing I'm going to start out with is when the state of Israel was established. Right. The state of Israel was established in 1948 is when they proclaimed their independence. The so-called Jewish nation was established as a country and a government, right? And since then, what they did, they enacted a law called the Law of Return that allowed people that they claimed to be a part of the diaspora to come back to the land of Israel, right? So what we just seen the video of is the Operation Moses. And this operation called Operation Moses, it was in 3 covert military operations called Moses, Joshua, and Solomon. So over 20,000 Ethiopian Jews were airlifted to Israel to escape hardship. The codename Operation Moses was a 3-way collaboration between the Mossad, the CIA, and the Sudanese state security to smuggle Beta Israel out of Ethiopia, where they face hardship and persecution in a massive airlift to Israel. Right? Their claim is that through Solomon and Sheba is how they have a direct lineage to the nation of Israel. So they went out there and had cargo plane ships land in Ethiopia, gather them by the thousands, and bring them back to make them citizens in Israel, right? Now, this particular operation was not the only one that was done by the Israeli government, right? You have other operations, right? One of them being Operation Magic Carpet. This was a significant airlift conducted between 1949 and 1950, primarily bringing approximately 49,000 Yemenite Jews to Israel. So they even went to Yemen. So they went to Ethiopia, Yemen, right? This was between 1949 and 1950, right? To bring them to Israel and make them citizens, right? You also have Operation Ezra. This operation named after the biblical figure who led Jewish exiles back to Judea, airlifted between 120,000 and 130,000 Iraqi Jews to Israel between 1951 and 1952. So they even went to Iraq and grabbed thousands of Iraqi Jews to the state of Israel to make them citizens, right? And other operations that followed up after that, where they brought in thousands. Now there's over millions of Jews that live in the state of Israel today. And to go back to the very beginning to this of the state of Israel, which was established in 1948, right? In order to populate that land with so-called Jewish people, right? They had a whole Zionist movement called Aliyah, right? And I'm gonna read a little bit about it. Right? Aliyah is the immigration of Jews from the diaspora to historical and the geographical land of Israel or the Palestine region, which is today chiefly represented by the state of Israel. Right? So you have from the late 19th century all the way up to present time, where they were getting Eastern European Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, Jews from Russia, and bringing them all back to Israel to make them citizens. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is for us to acknowledge a certain pattern that's being done. All these people who's proclaiming to be Israel, what is backing them to have that rightful claim? Now, for Jewish people, they trace their lineage through the mother. Their Jewness is based on the matrilineal descendants. If you're born from a mother that's a Jew, then technically they will consider you a Jew descendant or of Jewish descent. Now that causes a whole set of controversy. If you look inside what is called the Torah or the Tanakh, blatantly states that the lineage of Israel is always traced through the father. God knows better than us. The father carries the seed. Life is in the man, right? So lineage and descendants are traced through the father, and this is how it's recorded in Israelite custom, right? So they identify it through their mother. Without using DNA, without using any testing, they was able to establish the state of Israel. From that point on, in 1948, you had something what is called the law of return, right? They enacted this law called the law of return. We're going to read a little bit about that, right? The law of return is an Israeli law passed on July 5th, 1950. So that's a little shortly after the independence of the state of Israel, right, which give Jews, people with one or more Jewish grandparents and their spouses, the right to relocate to Israel and acquire Israeli citizenship. So the government of Israel made it open season for anybody who has a rightful claim, depending on their standards, to come back to the land of Israel, and they will receive citizenship. So they allow access for Ethiopians, they allow access for Asians, they allow access for the Yemenites, they allow access for the Iraqis, but there is one group of people that they didn't love to deny, right? There is one group of people that they denied, and that's still facing issues till this day. And guess who that people is? That is the so-called black man. Now, did you know, what if I were to tell you that so-called African Americans traveled from America all the way to the land of Israel and built their own town from scratch? Let me show you some proof.
Now, have you ever heard of the African Hebrew Israelites? Well, they are a sect of black Americans who began moving to Israel in the late 1960s, claiming to be descendants of the ancient Israelites. They're known for religious practices that include veganism and polygamy, and number about 3,000 people here in Israel, most of whom live in the southern desert town of Dimona. Now, most have received permanent residency under arrangements with the Israeli government, but now at least 46 families have just received deportation orders from the Interior Ministry saying that they have to leave the country within just 60 days.
See that? So, right, our people who've been there for quite some time is now facing deportation, right? But I thought it was open season for people that are Jews, right? It's only allowed for Ethiopians, Iraqis, Yemenites, Europeans, but as soon as black people decide to come and worship in the Holy Land and be a part of who they really are, right, that's when it becomes an issue. Nobody else is facing this in this land but us, right? Let's get a glimpse of how this town looks like.
Shot here. Oh, no. That was a shot. So we're going to have to take him out of the picture.
Mastering the art of living is an ongoing journey that involves taking action towards achieving optimal health and well-being. The Village of Peace Dimona has been committed to this journey for over 50 years, and they continue to embrace positive change and take control of their lives.
Today, butter banana with carrots. Then we have strawberry, peach, and mango. What's the name of your enterprise? Princess Smoothie. And who's the princess? I am.
Let's explore how this community has been mastering the art of living through their experiences and practices. In order to create a truly supportive and holistic environment, every aspect of day-to-day living must contribute to promoting life, longevity, and peace in some way. This includes not only personal practices and behaviors, but also the businesses and industries within the community.
All right, so you see that? We built that from scratch. During the 1960s, our people sought to leave America and establish a portion in the Holy Land. I'm going to read a little bit about it, right? It says, the Hebrew Israelites, as the spiritual community members are commonly known, first made their way to Israel from the United States in the 1960s. While members do not consider themselves Jewish, they claim an ancestral connection to Israel. Around 3,000 Hebrew Israelites lived in remote, hard-scrabble towns in southern Israel. Village of Peace is a cluster of low-slung buildings surrounded by vegetable patches. Immaculate Gardens in Dimona is the community's epicenter. Over decades, the Hebrew Israelites have made gradual inroads into Israeli society. After years of bariatric wrangling, about 500 members hold Israeli citizenship, and most of the rest have permanent residency. So in order for them to even receive that, they had to go through various steps, right? The woman that was living in Dimona, Israel, they were being sterilized, and the Israeli government would not access them citizenship unless they joined the Israeli military, unless they died for them in war. This what was being done. While everybody was getting free access, while everybody was allowed in, the only people who faced hardship and persecution was Black people. Right? This is bigger than us. We always knew who we were since the time of slavery. We are the real Jews, and they never included us in any operation. Right? There is no Operation Negro where the Israeli government airlifted thousands of Blacks back to Israel, right? This was done without the support of Mossad and without the support of the CIA and the US government. These brothers had to travel off of their own dime and to make it into the land of Israel. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is what we must do as a nation, right? The Bible talks about our king returning and getting rid of our opposition, our enemies, right? We're not going to share that land with our enemy. But you can understand that was a great feat for brothers to do that on their own. The Israeli government don't even recognize them till this day. I'm going to bring out a few scriptures talking about who are these other people who claim to be Jews. Everybody got a problem with Black people calling themselves Jews. They love to label us as a hate group, but don't nobody have a problem with these other nations calling themselves Jews. Don't nobody else has a problem with that. We are the one that's constantly being scrutinized and under a microscope, that's constantly pushed to provide proof. But yet, where is the proof for these European Jews? Where is the proof for the Ethiopian Jews? What is validating their claim to be a Jew? If they're not doing DNA testing, what is that source? The source is the Bible, the Torah, the Tanakh. So let's go into there and let's see what it says about who the Jews really are. What we're going to do, we're going to go into the scriptures and we're going to see who the Jews are, who has the rightful claim to that land and to the heritage. Share my screen. We're going to start with Jeremiah 14 and 2, right? Jeremiah 14 and 2. Judah mourneth. The word Jew, it's short for Judah. Same way if somebody is called Matthew, for short, most people call him Matt, right? So Jew is synonymous with Judah. It's the same thing. It's just short for Judah, right? So the Bible says that the Jews are mourning. The real Jews are in a state of mourning, meaning they're suffering. Now ask yourself, if these people are able to airlift everybody else on this earth except for Black people with a whole government that's backing them, with cargo planes, that doesn't sound like that they're in a state of mourning. These people, they own the Diamond District. They own Hollywood. They have their own government. They have a military, you know what I'm saying? But yet our people are denied that access to that land. Our people are left without a heritage due to slavery, due to colonization, due to what they did to our ancestors. We are left here in the ghettos of America. You know why? Because we are the real Jew. The gates thereof languish. The word languish means weak. The gates is talking about the protection. A gate is set up in order to protect anything that's outside of the fence. Our leaders are supposed to be exactly that. They represent the gates because they are the ones that's supposed to protect us from any outside threat. But guess what? Since when has any black leaders have gave us our true identity? Name one pastor that's out there that's teaching the truth of the Bible. They're not. They're telling you to forget about slavery, forget about what happened in the past, forget about finding out your identity and your heritage, and just enjoy being assimilated with your oppressor. It says they are black. The Bible just says that the real Jews are black unto the ground, meaning we are different shades of brown. The same way if you were to dig into the earth, you will find different shades of brown. The Bible says that the real Jews are black. So why are they denying them access? Why are they looking to deport the people in Damona, Israel? Why are they going out and rescuing every other nation on this earth and bringing them to Israel to give them citizenship, except for black people, when the Bible clearly states that the real Jews are black? And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Let's get some more. I'm going to go to Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. Right? This is Solomon speaking. Solomon is the son of David. David descends from the tribe of Judah. We just established that Jew is short for Judah. Right? So Solomon being a Jew, this is how he describes himself. Songs of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black. Whoa. You hear what he's saying? He said, I am black. Solomon just described himself as a black-skinned man, but calmly. Word calmly means beautiful. He's saying he is black, but beautiful, right? The same things that we marched and chanted during the Civil Rights Movement. This is what was said thousands of years ago by our ancestors. The real Jews are black, and we have the rightful claim to that land. Right? Let's get some more. Let's get Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to start with verse 46. Right? So if you read the chapter of Deuteronomy 28, is where Moses in the wilderness told the children of Israel, if they keep the commandments, that the Lord is going to bless them. From verses 1 through 15 is all the blessings that God promised us if we kept his commandment. And past that, from 16 on down, is all the punishments or curses that the Lord was going to put upon us if we break his commandments. Now, verse 46, I'm going to start out with this one because this is a powerful verse right here to help identify who these people are today. Deuteronomy 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. That's talking about the punishments. The Bible is saying that the punishments is going to be upon the children of Israel as a sign and for a wonder. Now, let's examine that a little bit. Let's say you're driving down the street, your GPS ain't working, your phone died. While you're driving, you start to get hungry. You craving McDonald's. While you're driving down the street, in order to know where the McDonald's is located without using your GPS, you're going to look for the two golden arches, which is the sign for McDonald's. Those two golden arches is an indicator to let you know this is where the exact location for the McDonald's. Well, guess what? The Bible is saying that's what the punishment is for the children of Israel. It is an indicator to let you know who these people are today. Let's go to one of the punishments and let's see who this fits the best. Let's go to verse 68. So we're in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Like I mentioned, this is when the children of Israel was in the wilderness after they fled out of Egypt, right? And the Lord said he's going to bring them into Egypt again. The word Egypt is synonymous with bondage. And the Lord is saying that he's going to bring the children of Israel into bondage again, a second time. But this time is going to be done, I'm going to read on, with ships. He's saying he's going to bring the children of Israel into bondage with ships. Now, who other people on this earth has been into captivity or slavery on slave ships? Let's read on. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Meaning the homeland, the promised land that they were traveling to while in the wilderness. Guess what? We won't be able to see it again. Now look, thousands of years later, we're being denied access to that land. Ask your average black person who they were prior to slavery. I guarantee you they won't give you a direct answer. We lost our heritage, we lost our culture because it's been stripped from us. And this all been prophesied thousands of years ago. That fits us the best. That's the sign to let you know who these people are today. I'm going to read on. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you. Now, this only fits but one people, and that is so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is our indicator. We come from a rich heritage by our culture. You can see it. But how we present ourselves, how we invent things, how we think, we are the greatest people on this earth. Nobody can do what we do. You know why? Because you are God's chosen people. And I'm going to end it with this, the last verse, Revelations 2:9. I know thy works and tribulations and poverty. Talking about the children of Israel. He's saying he knows our works. He understands that we're being persecuted and oppressed all across the earth, primarily in America. So much so that we had to travel during the 60s while we was being hosed down for simply asking to be treated fairly, while we was being beat down by police officers and dogs being sicked on us just for asking to be treated as a human being. That's all what the civil rights was all about. And the Lord seen that. So we made it to where we decided to travel over there in Israel with all the adversity and all that we've been through. We still find hardship and trouble just to find peace in our own land. All right. Read on. But thou art rich. You're rich, black man, not because of the money that you can accumulate in the bank or that you have in your pocket, because the blood that flows through your veins. That's what makes you rich, because you are the real Jew. You are the chosen people of God. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. Somebody's lying against God by proclaiming themselves to be a Jew. And the people that was skipped, that was never thought of being a Jew, it doesn't include black people. But the people that established the state of Israel, that went out all across the earth and airlifted immigrants back to this land, right? They are the ones that self-proclaiming to be a Jew. The Lord is saying that is a blasphemy. That is a lie. And he's going to tell you who these people really are. He knows the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. Well, who are they? But are the synagogue of Satan. I didn't say it, the Bible said it. For us as a people, don't expect their validation. Right? It's not required for them to validate who you are. We know who we are. Right? And when the time comes, we will get our land back. For now, let's focus on the law, statute, commandment. The kingdom of heaven is within you. We focus ourselves on getting right and cleaning ourselves together. regardless of where we at, we'll start to see our enemies and these empires that's against us fall. All right, Israel. Shalom.